Good afternoon, Upper Sixth. So I'm sure you've read this article in the Times this morning, and if you haven't, then click on this QR code and go and read the original one in the Times. An extremely good article from the perspective of fans and other economic factors about why Beyonce is not selling out her UK tour tickets. There's lots of reasons in there which we're going to explore in this short video. So when you're reading the article, I want you to look out for things like pricing tickets and also look at the percentage change over the years as well. Yes, we've got inflationary pressures in the economy, and that will also include tickets, but sometimes these tickets are so ridiculously expensive that it might alienate customers. So you have to go very careful for that. We've got market saturation out there, and the biggest names we've talked about before. So maybe Taylor Swift and Beyonce with a tour in the UK in the same year. Tickets are really, really expensive, even though Taylor Swift's are a bit cheaper. And maybe this is people just get overly, I don't know, they just don't want to go to two of them. It's too expensive. We've got those economic climate conditions out there at the moment, rising cost of living, and we're competing for this discretionary spending. Now, maybe I've only got so much money that I'm willing to spend on going to a concert per year, and maybe I choose not to go to Beyonce because I can go to two other people's concert for the same price as one ticket. Now, it might be that we less of us want to go to live events. Maybe there's more of us that want to go to live events. Think about the alternatives. It could be that I stream it on Netflix or Amazon. It could be that I go and watch it in the cinema. There's lots of concerts available there. Some people might be happy to experience the Beyonce concert, for example, in a 4D cinema environment. Now, if we think about price to start off with, we can see that there are some interesting points here. So on the right hand of the screen here, this is a screenshot that I took from a ticket company trying to sell me tickets. You can see it's priced in euros. And if you want to go in the Bucking Honey Pit, then it's 1102 euros. And you can see you get a laminated um, VIP card. Fantastic. You get some pictures with some of the people on stage, but clearly not Beyonce. Um, and this is what you probably get. Your seats are a bit closer to the main stage, but it's 1100 euros. So there's a couple of book comparisons over here that you can read through, and we can see that there is a significant increase in prices between different tours in different years. I know we've got inflation, but 31%, quite a lot for the normal person. Now, quite a lot of these increases in pricing is because of dynamic pricing models, because of the websites. More demand, price suddenly goes up, and we can see there is a massive increase between 2023 and the figure you see there. Now, this is very good for the sellers and not so much for the buyers. And it might just be that those people who can afford it will go. Well, maybe you alienate your fan base, and in the long run, maybe we stop listening to your music. Lots of maybes there. Maybe we just suck it up and pay for it. So if we think about the theories in here, we've got PED, which is obvious. The higher the price, if it's a limited amount of customers willing to go to live music venues and they've got different levels of sensitivity and willingness for paying, then maybe the higher the price, the less people want to go. But as long as we fill stadiums, capacity utilization, lower sixth, we're going to start it next week. Upper sixth, you've done it last year. Then we're okay. But if we get that pricing wrong, maybe we see empty seats. We don't want empty seats in stadiums for lots of obvious reasons, including the atmosphere. You know, a half full stadium is not going to feel like I'm going to a Megastar's concert. We've got to think about these dynamic pricing models, which maybe they are a good way of maximizing profitability in the short term. I would say that they are by the looks of the news articles about Oasis, but it could absolutely alienate fans in the longer term. Okay, which is why Oasis publicly apologized and then put on some more tour dates. Gosh, that's so generous. So, if we're thinking about saturation in a marketplace, I've mentioned these two superstars here. Thank you to Forbes for the graphic that they've already done in an article earlier in the year. But if we think about it, there's a lot of competition out there. Now, I'm not saying that the fan base will be exactly the same. It might be a bit different, but they're popular music, and let's face it, there's a difference in price here. So, and this is offers from, of course, there's obviously other more expensive tickets, and then you've got ticket touts that clearly will take the mick even further. So, if you think about it, it might be that I can only afford to go to one of these. I might choose to go to Taylor Swift's because maybe I love both of them, and maybe one ticket is half the price of the other. So we're linking into market positioning strategy here. Think about the price quality, possibly if you're having that sort of thing, a market positioning question. We're thinking about competitive rivalry. Well, mainly this is going to be based on brand and also the songs. Do I like them or not? It's not just about positioning strategy. And then maybe, depending how fanatical I am about either of these artists, I might choose to pay the £224 for a Beyonce ticket because I just love Beyonce. Or maybe I don't. So we've got to think about how brand loyalty might influence me to spend more of my discretionary income. It might be that I'm less price sensitive, and actually the YED coefficient, we could sort of go, well, this might be the average in the UK, but is this the average for Beyonce fans? And then think about fandom on a spectrum of absolutely crazy fan loving Beyonce would sell a kidney to go to a concert, through to people that are a bit meh, don't mind if I go or not. Well, there's a big difference there of how much people are willing to save. Maybe people would rather go and listen to Beyonce for the evening than feed their children. Never know. Well, if we're thinking about those external factors, we've talked about money, we've talked about YED, and we've got a good definition up there that I've clearly stolen from the Investopedia. Very good website, go and use it, clearly. And then we've got obviously our cost of living crisis, and you've got a million UK children going hungry. I don't think their parents are the target customers of the Beyonce promoters, but they might be listening to her music. And if these sorts of things are totally out of reach, then maybe you get less people going to concerts. We've seen this with the Disney theme parks in Florida, for example, where they've changed all the models. They're now charging you for stuff that you used to get for free. It all sounds like it's a money grabbing activity. It's now started winding people up, and they've stopped going to the theme parks. There are now less people going to Disney than before, and maybe overall Disney make less money even though they're getting more money per person. So it's important, again, capacity utilization. Make it too expensive and you might alienate your fans. Maybe those loyal Disney fans never go back. Okay, so we've got our formula up there for YED, and remember we're going to question the variables. Well, if it's an estimated change in demand, well, we can obviously question the word estimated. If it's a real change in demand and we've then got the YED coefficient at the other end of it, we think about factors in the future that might have changed. We look for factors that are different in the past compared to now. Maybe a brand new record comes out and I just have to go. And we've got obviously the links in there that we mentioned too. And remember, if something suddenly happens in the economy and people start to get a bit scared, maybe I suddenly save my money. My income might not go down, by the way. It might just be my attitude to spending that changes. Look at that horrible interview between Zelensky and Trump the other day. That has made a lot of people very, very nervous with what's going on. Maybe they decide that they're not going to go on an international holiday, and maybe therefore they really want to spend a bit more money on concert tickets because they still want a special treat. That staycation might include going to a Taylor Swift concert. Think about those things. And we've got changing behaviours in the marketplace, and we've got a couple of things there. So, we've got the Cowboy Carter country style. Some fans might just not like it. Some might have loved it. Some country fans, by the way, might suddenly listen to other back catalogue of Beyonce songs. So we understand why this is gone into a slightly different market segment, but go careful. You've built your brand over not decades, but she's been around for a while, even though she's amazing. But if you suddenly become seen as country, what about all those other loyal fans? They might not like country music, and therefore they might stop listening to your music. Who knows? I'm sure she knows what she's doing, by the way. And think about the frequency. I've mentioned there's two tours in 2 years. Maybe that's too much. And that means it becomes more available. There's lots more supply. Maybe there's double the amount there was before. And if there's double the supply but only the same amount of demand, maybe that's why they're not selling all of their tickets. And we've talked about the um, choosing an alternative artist, but also if the tickets are cheaper abroad, maybe people don't go to the UK and they jump on Eurostar and go to Paris. So there we've obviously got our consumer behavior, but we need to think about our product life cycle. And it might be that Beyonce has reached the maturity stage in the UK, and actually the extension strategy here is the Cowboy Carter country music style of music, and that might stop the decline in that marketplace, be that a global marketplace or the UK we're talking about here. It could be that the extension strategy actually made things worse. These are the sorts of things you can discuss in your essays. Hopefully that was useful. Go and read the article. If you want to make up an exam question and answer it based on the Times article, I am happy to mark it. Have a lovely day.